Hey guys, welcome back to another video in the series I'm Turning 30. My name is Mitch, and if you're new here, this is a series where I talk about my life, whether that's something that's happened in the past, things that are happening right now at present, or things that will happen down the line in the future, or maybe a mixture of all three. And as you can see today, I'm going to talk about pets. Now, I actually haven't had a lot of different pets growing up and like a large variety of animals, but I'd like to talk about them and talk about what animals I'd like to have kind of going forward. So, starting back at the very beginning, when I was first born, up until I think I was either 2 or 3 years old, my family had a cat. There are pictures, I believe, of me with the cat and everything like that. I actually don't think I have any memories of her besides those pictures being taken, and I can't even remember her name right now. When I was trying to think of names, I started coming up with other people's cats' names that I know, and I don't think it was the same. I think it was a different name, and I can't really remember her. So that was like the first experience that I had with animals, is having a cat when I was very young, which may have led to me loving cats when I was older. Maybe it was something that I enjoyed because I had that cat when I was younger, because I really like cats now. I believe soon after she passed away, we ended up getting a dog that many of my friends know because he lived a long time and was always around. His name was Sprocket. Now, Sprocket was a mixed breed dog, not a specific breed or anything like that. I'm not sure exactly where my parents got him, but Sprocket was in my life all throughout growing up. I always knew he was going to be there coming home, elementary school, middle school, high school, and even into my 20s. He was around, and I was able to hang out with him for a very long time. Sadly, he had to be put down because he was getting so old and having so many different health problems that we figured it was just kind of time, rather than kind of just like let him live out this life that probably wasn't super satisfying to him. So we had to unfortunately put him down. But he has kind of set the standard for what I want my dog to be like. And I think obviously because I was growing up with him, I had to kind of learn how to train and be with and take care of, and I didn't always, do that. My parents did that, my siblings did that every once in a while, so it wasn't just me taking care of the dog. And so I've never had a dog that's purely just mine that I take care of, and so that would probably be a different experience. And again, that bar would probably be different, but because I've never had another dog after him, that's kind of just where the bar is. Now, in the middle, and I believe around when I was like end of elementary school and when I was in middle school, we did have another dog. His name was Lucky. He was a rat terrier, and we really enjoyed our time with Lucky. We did have, I think, some troubles with training him and just kind of his temperament a lot of the time. It's not like he was like an angry dog or like anything like that, I don't think. It's just like wasn't working out having the two dogs and like his training and whatnot, so we ended up giving him away to a older woman and just keeping Sprocket. But I still remember Lucky fondly. And then growing up, other than those two dogs and the one cat when I was really young, we never really had any other pets. There was one time I trapped a vole that had fallen into a window well and pretended it was a hamster, and it magically disappeared one night. Who knows what happened to it? But other than that, I've never had any other animals, any birds, reptiles, other dogs, any other cats, anything like that. Now, I have lived with my fair share of cats. I recently, when I was living in Utah, I lived with 4 different cats at my friend's house, so not adverse to being around cats and hanging out with them. I've always really liked them, but we never had them because of the dogs, and then people that we knew were allergic to cats, so it was hard to have cats at our house, and so my parents never had them. But I really like cats, and I would like to have one in the future. However, it's been in the past like 2 or 3 years or so, I have developed a slight allergy to cats, which is just, life is just so cruel. So cruel. I have no idea why. But my right eye specifically, if I'm around a cat and pet a cat, and if I rub my eye or touch it, my red eye, the inside right here, starts to get really swelly and puffed up, and my eye turns really red. That's the only reaction that I have. Nothing else really happens, and as long as I don't touch my eye, nothing is affected at all, as far as I'm aware. But it's a really unfortunate twist after living with cats and always really liking cats and wanting cats. Eventually, when I move back to America or live somewhere just in general that is a okay place for cats to live, I'm hoping to get some type of hypoallergenic cat, and we'll see what that kind of looks like in the future. Don't really have a specific breed decided or anything like that, but I will probably have to get a hypoallergenic one just so I don't have to necessarily worry about everything being clean and not touched by my cat all the time. And going along with wanting to get a cat in the future, I actually want to adopt the cat from a shelter, and I actually want to get a cat dog combo at a shelter. I would love to go to a shelter and find a cat and a dog that get along there and be able to bring them both home. That would be like my ideal situation if that would be possible and if I have the means to do so. But I would like to live together with one cat and one dog. That would be like my ideal scenario in the future to kind of have. Dog breeds, again, I'm not super picky on breeds. I prefer kind of like medium-sized dogs. I wouldn't like hate a big dog or like hate a small dog, but I kind of just prefer a medium one because that's just what I was around most of the time growing up and what Sprocket was. So I've also thought it would be really cool to have a snake, a pet snake of some kind, not like a giant big snake, but like kind of like more of a just like a smaller. I don't want to say kinder snake, but just like a something that's not as like large and higher maintenance. I think just in general, a reptile would be cool to take care of. I really like snakes, so that's like my preferred. But I could take care of another reptile or have that as a pet as well. But I think that's something that is not as much as a want as having a cat or a dog. I kind of touched on this briefly, just barely, but I am not allowed to have any animals in this apartment that I'm living in Japan, or I would think about doing it here. Also, because I'm probably coming back to America, figuring out and having to transport animals things, including the animal and all the things that I probably would buy for the animal, like things that I would want to bring back for it, and transporting the animal itself seems like a really big hassle and very difficult and would cost a lot of money on top of getting the animal itself. So I just don't think it's a good idea for me to do right now while I'm living in Japan until I'm more secure in something, whether that's something I find that's a really good offer here in Japan and I find somewhere that lets me have pets, or going back home and being able to have somewhere again that allows pets that I can have in a more stable environment. But yeah, that's kind of my animal and pet situation that I've had in my life. Nothing too crazy for this week. Maybe you didn't know about the reptile thing, but it is something that I would definitely think about doing. But thanks once again, guys, for tuning into this series. I'm turning 30. I really do appreciate you guys stopping by every single week, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace.